Cleveland Giant.
WGCL. With auto cash at 1255 and Trucker Lenny taking it from the request line. 578 OG98.
Shotgun Tom. G98.
G98 with auto cash. It's 523 to Shotgun Tom Kelly. I got something gonna make you feel good, and it's free. A free ride at Edgar Winter on G98. But auto cash is Skip O'Brien at 151 with a rock and roll at G98.
Currently in the lakefront city, it's 38 degrees. Our sky condition cloudy. Greg Anthony, G98 Total Information News.
G98.
Zip 106 is WZZP Cleveland. Right after 5, and Tim Davison with Manfred Mann's Earth Band, Blinded by the Light.
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
Skip O'Brien.
Hello, everybody. This is Skip O'Brien, and we are here today, September 22nd, 2018, at the WGCL G98 WZZP Zip 106 reunion. We have about 18 to 20 people that are scheduled to show up. So far, we've already had Greg Anthony is here. There he is, newsman Greg Anthony.
Thank you.
Tim Davison from G98.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, guys. Andrea over there, Klein Hands, worked in sales. Yep.
All right.
Over here, newsman Jack Callahan, Fred Borgelli, who was in sales at Zip 106. So we're going to get about 15, 20 more. So welcome to the reunion. It's going to be a blast.
Can't wait.
And of course, Ray Glasser is here with us too. And Ray goes to all the DJ reunions. CKLW, Wixie, WRKO, he's been to all of them. So to not have Ray here would really be an injustice. So Ray, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Skip.
You're welcome.
yeah, but I missed the you know, that's his friend who's W.D. Sandiford. Oh, man. He's there, too. I don't know. He's done. Oh, okay. This is my friend, Darnell. No Hey, Chris Mambros. Hey, how you doing, man? It's been a long time. It's great to see you guys. This is just the funniest thing. Here, she said yes. I think she's coming with the I know somebody else now. Mid-age has some news. Tape from my I don't know, this he's the one that had all the stuff. Now he's on KDSK. It's a winner. The voice sounds familiar and nobody else can be found. So I great email them through Facebook every day from 1 to 3 or something. No. I managed to just say we should bring people up so we can get it like
go. Loving it.
Is this yours?
No.
I didn't get one of
Charlie Jr. Everybody knows Brian.
Hey, Skip.
follow you at night on WGCL. Remember that?
Grab your attention, please. All you big mouth disc jockeys and newsmen, could you just be quiet for 2 minutes?
Hey.
The managers got the feeling that we're not going to order anything, and we're just using the room. So maybe we could sit down and you could order something.
We have to sit down.
Is that right?
I know, I
Take
have
a
to
seat.
sit down.
When the music stops, take a seat. G98. How about WZZP? Zip 106. Did you work there, Jim? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I worked with Jack. I met Jack at G98. Oh no. Then he left and started at M105.
Well, yeah.
In the mall.
Isn't that dangerous?
Beaver gave up 6 runs. It's not Broadway Bill Lee from New York.
I'm Francesca.
I was kind of like manure. It was like a 90 ZAK for 20 years. So
Oh my God, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, it is.
Did you go to
I worked at WGCL.
Oh yeah, he was the greatest.
She's gonna come out. The tides change and the FM takes over.
It's like 27.
the new guy. He was learning video and sports.
Ray has been nice enough, he's been taking still shots and video of this event. What he wants to do now, we all got to be quiet. He's going to quickly go around and to each one of you, and all you have to do is say your first and last name and what stations you work for. And he's going to put together a whole video.
How many cards did you bring?
Which?
Hard drive, hard drive.
Skip O'Brien.
All right, start with you.
Skip O'Brien, WGCL G98.
And what are you doing now?
Attending this reunion.
That's it. All right, next up.
No, wait, you forgot another important station. Skip O'Brien, WGCL G98 and WZZP Zip 106. And I'm retired and attending this reunion, and it's great.
There you go. Okay. Next up.
Jack Callahan, I worked at G98, and now I work at Fox News Radio. And
Wow, very good.
a whole bunch of them in between, too many.
As usual. All right, next up.
Broadway Bill
I worked at WLYT, and in the middle of that, KFRC, TIC FM, WCGQ, WCLS, and now CBS FM in New York.
Very good.
Happy to be here.
All right.
Jack Fitzgerald, WGCL twice, and WZZP, and I do marketing consulting and produce a national PBS show.
Okay.
And delighted to be here. What a crowd.
We all are. Yeah.
Hi, Terry Patrick. I worked at WGCL, WZZP, later 3WE, and I'm a programming and marketing consultant for radio stations.
Thank you.
Chris Mavros, Manning, Michaels. Let's see, WZZP, WZAK for 20 years, CUE KDD, but and a bunch of other stations.
And now?
Now retired, but selling real estate.
Okay.
Making a few bucks.
G98 with Brother Truck and Lenny.
All right.
Also, WZAK for a long time. JMO's where I started. And right now I'm doing an internet thing, and Kanye West just sampled a song of mine that I recorded. His song was called XTCY, Ecstasy. And, you know, that's what I'm into now.
Thank you. All right. Going down the line.
Andrea Kleinhans, WGCL Radio, and after that I was in newspaper and the credit union business and writing letters to the editor.
And next to you?
Francesca Di Capua. I was at GCL, WGCL, and then WQAL, and then I moved to Seattle and I was with Cairo, KIRO.
Big station.
Oh yeah. And then Kilo in Denver, Colorado Springs. They told me it was because of the metric system was coming in. So it was bullshit. And after that, it doesn't matter. I kept getting fired, and now I'm in home health.
Nobody gets fired in radio. All right.
Sort of. And gardening.
I'm Brother Truck and Lenny.
Also a big liar.
I'm also a big liar. And I worked at LIT, GCL. Who are you? Rick Monroe.
Very good.
Sounds the same. It's a good sign you can remember.
Yeah.
You can see GCL, Wixie, ZZP. Went out to California, went radio out there, and Transtar Satellite Network at the beginning when the satellite started. That's it.
All right.
Just hanging out now.
Very good.
Yeah.
Next up.
I'm Bob Proud. I used to be Bob Payton. I was program director of WGCL, later program director of WZZP. In between that and after that, I was program director of X-Rock in Ciudad Juarez. Programmed for a while longer, and then when I was 29, they convinced me to cut my hair and put on a tie. So I've been in management and more recently in the corporate suite, and now a semi-unemployed consultant living in Dallas.
Would it be better if we go over?
Okay, that's cool.
Hey, Ray, over there! Look at this! Hand down, will ya?
I love it.
Blue suede shoe.
Right.
And the best rhyme I have at this moment is don't abuse these shoes.
There you go.
All right. Like Elvis, baby. You're part of your guardian. Scott Howard, grateful to get into radio in Cleveland, Ohio, WLYT. It's been a crazy trip. Ended up at WMJI. But remember me as your partying guardian.
I love it. All right.
I'm Maggie Brock. I am grateful to all the people here that I worked with at WZZP. It was my first radio station. Bob Proud hired me. Chuck Denson taught me how to do news. I got to do news all across the country. Spent a lot of time at WLS and The Loop in Chicago. Wow. I was at KZZP also. I've had a great run, and I'm very happy to be here with all of these great people.
Thank you.
Hey, Maggie.
Chuck Denson, WJMO, WABQ, WGAR. Oh boy, we're after that. Howard University, Mutual Black Network News, WOOK, WILD in Boston, WNCI Columbus,
KELP El Paso.
He couldn't keep a job, poor thing.
It's a pleasure to be around all of these people that I've worked with and admired for many years. God bless all of you, and may you continue to have good and happy health.
Thank you. Very good. All right. Next.
Charlie Tuna, G98, 75 to 77. Jim Rafty's the real name. Retired now.
Retired.
Yep.
Charlie, thank you.
Okay. Which year? I was hired.
Any.
Okay. I was hired by Chris Bailey. Worked at Waxy in Rochester, WCAO in Baltimore, WQRK Norfolk, the Big Weenie in Endicott from Irv Griffin, WENE 1410 or 1430 or something, and WTLB in Utica.
Okay.
And GCL.
And now with the news.
Greg Anthony, gosh, a whole host of stations.
Put your hand up to your ear.
Oh, that's not.
That's right.
With a voice like that. With a voice like that.
Right.
You can't talk without your hand up.
WJMO, WABQ, WGCL, WZZP, 1100, WWJ, WCNN, in Atlanta, WMAQ, WVON, both in Chicago. I'm still do voiceovers. I'm the concierge at the Metropolitan at the 9, and semi-retired, actually.
Very good.
Okay. Let me see if I can still do it.
Oh, if you can.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can do it. Okay,
Coming out of the news.
Coming out of the news.
Okay. Currently in Cleveland, 68 degrees. Now, back to much more music and Charlie Tuna.
Great pipes.
All right, Tim.
Hello, everybody. Tim Davison. Skip, what did we do? Whose idea was this? I blame you.
What have you created?
This has been wonderful to see all you guys. I didn't work with all of you. A lot of you for a little bit of time at GCL and ZZP. I worked in Akron and Cleveland for about 12, 13 years until early 1980. I worked at Q105 in Tampa. First voice ever heard on the station. I'm hoarse as hell. Sorry about that. Don't sound like a radio person. But got into sales in the early 80s. And I think what I missed the most was people like you guys.
Yeah.
I used to say to the other salespeople, those people give you your income. And you know that too, Bob. Without them, you don't have anything to sell.
Yeah.
And sadly anymore, the bean counter idiots have ruined our industry.
Well, corporations.
And the corporations, but we worked at a time where personalities were the product that the listeners loved and the advertisers paid to get to those listeners. And God bless all of you. I hope we can do this again sometime.
Yeah.
Hope you don't make 43 years tonight. Next year.
And Fred.
How about tomorrow? Yeah, breakfast at Tim's house.
Fred.
My wife doesn't cook anymore.
I'm Fred Bergele. I worked in sales for like 25 years at WZZP, WGCL, WERE, WKSW, KISS 104 in Atlanta, WCAK, WJMO, WABQ, WDMT, Channel 55 in Akron, and had a ball with all the on-air people, more so than I have with my salespeople. Made me a lot of money.
Very good. Get everybody?
Did we get
Did we
everybody?
get the guy at the head of the table? And would you have the guy with the camera?
You got me already.
Did you have the camera the whole
Can I do
time?
mine over again?
How about you?
You really want to do it over
No
again?
second, Tim.
I was in production.
Can we get Skip to tell the story about the time that the cleaning lady shot her gun off?
Oh, I remember that.
Go for it.
Great story.
Don't say good night to Oliver.
I remember that Playberry one.
remember that?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
I'm on the air all by myself. It's a Friday night at GCL. Some people, some young kids, about 6 or 7
I
of them
was
that I
there.
met, that at some outing, called me and said, "Skip, we're downstairs. Can we just come up and see a radio station and see how things work?" I said, I'm thinking, I shouldn't really do this, and I really shouldn't have. So I said, well, all right, yeah, come on up, but you can't stay very long. They get up there, they start watching. The cleaning lady comes around the corner, always a very nice lady. Never had any problems with her. Christy was her name?
Christine.
Oh, Christine, okay. I should remember that based on the story. So Christine takes a look at the kids and turns to me and says, and she never was like this, but she was, not feeling too good that night. You know how that is, Scott, right? When you. So anyhow, she says, Skip, she says, are these people bothering you? And I said, Christine, no, they're fine. They're fans. If they bother you or they threaten you, I'll kick their ass out of here. And I said, no, Christine. And they're laughing, these kids. So I do a break. I come back and I turn around, and she has a gun in her hand. And it's a real gun. And the kids think it isn't, thank God, because I needed the listeners. And so I didn't tell them that it probably was. And she says, Skip, I'm telling you, if they don't leave and leave you alone, I'm going to shoot them. And I said to the kids there, she's a jokester. She's just kidding. The gun's not even real. And so, but I said, nevertheless, she's having a bad night, as you can see. Why don't you guys leave? So they're still hanging around a little bit longer than they should. I turn around to open my mic. I no sooner say G98 and I hear boom! I turn around, the gun's smoking. She didn't shoot them, but she shot it into the wall of the studio. I said, kids, you gotta leave. You really do. This is it. So then I'm thinking, this lady's nuts. I'm gonna turn around and do my last break. She's gonna, by mistake or whatever, shoot me. So I thought, I gotta get the gun from her. So I said, Christine, I said, I got an idea. We've been pals for a long time, and I really appreciate you protecting me. That was very nice of you. But they're gone. But just in case they come back, why don't you give me the gun? Then you can go back and clean some more, and I'll just defend myself. So that's a story about Christine. And by the way, I remember, I think it was Rick Monroe, and I found the shell. The bullet, yeah. And Rick, I believe Rick took it and put a little sign around it and pasted it right outside the studio door. Yeah, the bullet that almost.
It was a memo. It said to Skip O'Brien from Crazy Christine regarding, and then the bullet slug was on the memo.
Beautiful.
And that hung on the wall for months.
And do you still have it?
Yes.
Really?
Was it you and
Was that right out of the shotgun jingle?
What's that?
Was that right out of the shotgun jingle?
When a gentleman that many of you know, Max Haywood, Dick Smith, passed away about a year ago, and Tim and I have the same birthday, same birth date. He's obviously much older.
I'm 1 year older.
You're 1 year older.
1 year.
So we were talking every birthday, and he kept me up to date and let me know that Max was not doing well, and he had passed. So he and I said, we need to get together, and then Skip became part of it because you live here, and Scott, and so the four of us had lunch down here in Akron about a year ago. And it was so nice, we said, man, we need to do this more often, I wish more people were here. And that was kind of the genesis, and then Tim, and especially Skip, picked up the ball and ran with it, and the result is today. But some of the people that we have lost that you may or may not remember, in addition to Max Haywood, were Captain Kirk Russell, who was our midday man and production director at WZZP and later worked with me in El Paso. Bill Tash, who was our chief engineer when we launched WZZP, he passed last year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
A lady that worked for both WGCL, then we brought her to WZZP, Leah Gaffney. And we understand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she passed away to the best of our knowledge.
I Googled her.
We understand Gordon Stenbeck is gone.
Really?
Gordon and that's fairly recent because he was, I think, Rubber City or one of the companies down here for a long time. But
he owned 94.9 before Tom Mandel bought it.
Okay, got
I worked for him in Seattle.
You worked for
Gordon Stenbeck.
Stenbeck down in where was he?
I'm not sure who else. I know J.R. Nelson, who was briefly our production director at ZZP, has passed.
Dick Shue.
Dick Shue, who was our chief engineer.
I love Dick Shue.
Later he worked in San Antonio.
Well,
I was fortunate to get back in
WKRP.
touch with Dick in San Antonio.
Dick and I used to fly together because he had
became
that
a pilot.
And we'd go over to Ashtabula or whatever, the plane was over there. He'd pick me up at Hopkins and we'd go fly around. It was $12 an hour to rent the plane, including gas.
And he was flying a lot in Texas.
Please tell me
I
he
believe
married a
Wayne
wonderful
Shane
woman.
You know, I don't recall his marital status.
Well, because he was divorced from this woman who he was sort of in love with, and what? Do you know about this?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to make you feel better, so he did.
Okay.
Not as wonderful as you, but he married a wonderful woman.
And
Rick wants you to keep women happy.
But she was a story. But anyway, he was a sweetheart, dude. He really was.
He was
I bring him everybody coffee in the morning, and he'd say, "You're a decent human being, Francesca." Every morning.
Remember, Dick always had the cigarette lit in the ashes.
Yes.
When we were flying.
That's all right. We'll be all right.
Rick Monroe, Rick reminded me of a person that is really instrumental, possibly in my knowing all of you, a gentleman named Hal Curling. Helmut Curling was a junior high school friend of mine, and when I was showing the door in Ashtabula in 1972, he was working at WGCL and suggested I come in, and that was actually my entree to WGCL when it was still automated, and I was in there running the automation doing 2020 News, and Hal later became a big West Coast jockey. Gary Cocker in San Diego, and he passed about 3 years ago in San Diego.
I worked with him at ZZP.
Oh, Lee Andrews, who was one of our first who was, I was the PD of GCL after I'd been there a year and worked for 4 or 5 other PDs because GCL at that time had a gentleman named John Tenaglia at the top of the
Oh my
company.
God! And you walked in the door one time on your knees and said, "Hi, I'm John Tenaglia." Remember the FBI?
Yes, and John later spent time in prison.
John Tenaglia.
He beat up a waiter. Yes, he beat up a waiter in an Italian restaurant. When he got into a fight over the food, he was
in Cleveland.
He spent time. This was in Philadelphia for aggravated assault. That's a whole nother story.
He hit on my wife at a Christmas party. He hit on my wife at a Christmas
people that we worked with in the same building that have passed over the years. Mike Payne will always have a special place in my heart for the help he gave me very early in my career.
Wayne Shane.
Wayne Shane. Wayne Shane. Also, for a short while, Ron Dennington, Ronnie Knight.
He's been gone a number of years. He had the glasses.
Yeah, we remember. You were right about me.
Hey, John.
I should have called Wayne Shaw.
Hey, stop dying.
You're breaking up real bad, dude.
No more dying.
No more dying. Let's make it
I'm sorry. Let me
By degree, Maggie. Make it so.
Anyhow, that's all right.
All right, wait a minute.
One more.
How many people owe their careers to Bob Payton?
Right
here.
Yeah.
Right here.
Thank you.
All right, this is true because a lot of the disc jockeys at GCL told me, and they some of them had been at 4 other stations, and they said it was the craziest place they'd ever worked at.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, I know you had one after
Who
that.
was the general manager that used to walk in with the 2 Airedales?
I don't remember.
He was the one who was having an affair with one of the
Dave Knoll. That's Dave Knoll.
Dave Knoll.
You're not trying to have an affair with me.
When I was out at TransStar, when we put the staff together for the satellite network, we were telling war stories. We had hired people from all over the country, and I told 3 GCL stories, and these guys are all saying, that's got to be bullshit.
Oh, no, they don't.
One of them was the Crazy Christine story. The other one was me getting shot at point blank range in front of the building. The windows, I'm trying to lock the door. They had threatened me on the, long story longer, middle of the night, I give away an album to the 10th caller, and I get a call going, you cut my sister off. She was called at 3, 4, 5. If she doesn't win the album next hour, I'm going to blow your brains out.
Didn't he get on the fire escape?
I went, fuck you. Well, the next hour, I give away the album, and a girl doesn't win. And I'm there alone. You know that the front door was wide open onto Euclid, little foam core doors up there. No one ever locked it. We were the last tenant in the building.
The price building,
Yes.
1715 Euclid.
So for years, so anyway, I figure, I better put a long record on and go down and lock the door. I am locking the door, and then I figured these people may only live blocks away from here. I don't know. So I'm locking the door. A car pulls up right to the curb, just the sidewalk between us. A guy leans out the back window, bang, 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 and I'm falling backwards. One of the bullets later, I showed people for 15 years later, long after GCL was gone. If I was in the neighborhood, I'll show you where I was. It was right at head level. That bullet hole was in the aluminum frame of the door. Now, I had the key in my hand, and I ran up the stairs thinking they're piling out of the car to finish me off. And I didn't know whether I got the door locked or not. And I run upstairs, lock the little crappy foam door, call the police. Yeah, we're on it. And it turned out the police took like 2 hours to get there. These guys pulled around into the back lot, no lights on, and I could see their cigarettes. They're waiting for 6 a.m. for me to get off to finish the job. I call the police again, repeatedly. Yeah, right, we'll be there. Central Police Station is 5 blocks away. Well, Dennington had just been hired, the program director, and he didn't have a key yet. So he said, "Come down. No, don't lock that door. I'm coming in, at 5:45. And that's kind of why the door wasn't locked in the first place. So these guys are waiting for me to get off. Then the hotline rings. Dennington had tried the front door and it was locked. He goes across to the donut shop and goes, "You fucking idiot. That sounds like him. I told you to leave the goddamn door." And I went, "Get out of there. Just stay away. These guys are in the back lot. They're going to kill us. And the police won't come." So I call the police again. And I'm looking, and I don't want to be backlit. The production room, no lights on. I'm peeking out the thing like, Inspector Clouseau, and they're still there, but I see a cop car pulling south past the parking lot to turn onto Euclid.
To get donuts.
Yeah, really, yeah. So these guys just pulled out. They saw the cop go, and they left. So I meet the cops down there, and there's glass everywhere. There's bullet holes in the door. I never did get the door locked, but that bullet that went through the aluminum had a little sliver of aluminum jammed between the doors, and that's the only thing. It acted like a lock. They couldn't get in.
Well, Jack, did you have the Apple hat on?
I forgot that was you.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah, so that's when they said, from now on, the door is locked constantly. And then it was like a week later when the door wasn't locked and these people came in on skip.
Yeah.
And then
I'll tell you, Christine's relatives get around with that gun. Don't they? Christine's granddaughter that didn't get that album.
So I'm telling these stories. I'm telling these stories out in Colorado Springs.
And they don't believe you.
They don't believe me. But guess who the manager of the local station where we're borrowing studios? It's Dave Knoll. So I go, "Guys, Dave, come over here." And we went out to dinner that night.
Ask him where the dogs were, the Grey Poupon.
No, but anyway, Dave confirmed every detail of every one of those stories, and these guys all looked at me and went, "That is the craziest station we've ever heard of." So, it's been speculated that it might have been, you be the judge. But the third story in the triumvirate was I walk in, and the lady on the front desk, who I can't remember, it might have been you, but I don't think so.
Who had the red hair? Real pretty, she used to always sit in the front desk.
Sandy Klein? No, she was a salesperson.
No, Sandy Myers wound up marrying Dave.
That's who it was.
Yeah. Okay, Sandy had a wet paper towel turban around her face, and I walked in and went, "Whoa, who died in here?" And she says, "Just go home, we're running tapes today." In one of the vacant suites down the hall, there were some squatters who had taken a dump in our air conditioning intake. There were people living in these vacant suites that we didn't even know about.
At the end of the hall.
At the end of the hall.
Near where the restaurant is. I was doing afternoons one weekend, and that door, W.D. Sanford did his news and went home, slammed the door shut, and I had to go to the bathroom, so I put on Roundabout. And I got locked out. I put those little rubber feet in to hold it open. I thought, man, I didn't have a key, there was nobody there, so I did one of these as hard as I could. I kicked the door down. I thought I was going to break my
WD was living in that bathroom.
For 6 weeks.
He said to say hello, by the way. John Chai. He said,
I tried talk to WP.
Everybody say Zip 106.
All right.
Zip 106.
Yeah, how about G98? G98 Zip 106 reunion. Here we go. All right. Thanks to the guys that put this thing together.
Skip O'Brien.
Yes.
Yep.
Kim Davison. Yes. Smoker.
Yo.
Everybody thank Ray. He's taking what he said.
My pleasure, guys. My pleasure.
Hey.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Ray. We're good.